What if I told you that the two greatest love stories of my life couldn't be more different from each other? One began with something simple and sacred, two words that people have spoken for centuries, I do. The other began with something playful, wild, and completely unexpected, yo ho ho. At first glance, they might seem like they belong in two different universes, one soft, tender, and rooted in tradition, the other loud, adventurous, and bursting with freedom. But life doesn't play by simple categories. It has this funny way of weaving together contradictions until they make perfect sense. That's why these two love stories, though completely different on the surface, ended up teaching me the same lessons. Lessons about what it means to love fully, to live bravely, and to laugh often. Think about it for a moment. Isn't love itself kind of unpredictable? We grow up with a certain idea of what love should look like. Roses, candlelit dinners, handwritten notes, or perhaps those dramatic movie moments where the music swells and two people run toward each other in slow motion. But when real life shows up, love often sneaks in through ordinary doors. It hides in the everyday rituals, in small acts of kindness, in quiet conversations after a long day. Sometimes it also shows up in the most unexpected corners, in wild adventures, in risks you didn't plan to take, in moments where your heart races, not because of a person standing across from you, but because of the unknown calling you forward. That's exactly how my story unfolded. My first great love began with tradition. A marriage. A promise. A vow to stand beside someone no matter what storms rolled in. And let me tell you, that kind of love is beautiful, but it's not easy. It's not always the fairy tale people imagine when they see a couple walking down the aisle. It's a different kind of magic. It's the magic of building something steady in a world that constantly changes. It's the strength to forgive when mistakes happen, and the courage to laugh even when things don't go as planned. There were mornings when love looked like nothing more than 2 cups of coffee sitting side by side on the kitchen counter. Afternoons when it meant folding laundry together while joking about whose socks mysteriously disappeared again. Evenings when love looked like sitting quietly on the couch, not saying a word, but feeling safe simply because someone else was there. That's the truth of married love, it's woven into all those simple, daily moments. Of course, it wasn't perfect. Marriage never is. There were arguments. There were days filled with frustration. There were times when patience felt stretched thinner than paper. Have you ever had one of those moments when your partner does something so small, yet so irritating, that you feel like you could explode? Maybe they forgot to take out the trash, maybe they left dishes in the sink, maybe they didn't notice something you thought was obvious. Those little annoyances pile up. But then, in the middle of your irritation, they do something unexpected, like make a goofy face, or tell a silly joke, or just smile at you in that way they always do, and suddenly, you can't help but laugh. The anger melts away. And in that laughter, you remember, oh right, this is love. Not perfection. Not constant harmony. But the choice to stay, to forgive, and to keep choosing each other even when it's hard. That was the first love story. A story about stability, patience, and the deep comfort of being known. But then, life surprised me with a second love story, one that couldn't have been more different. This one wasn't with a person at all. It was with the sea. With adventure. With that wide-open horizon that dares you to leave behind certainty and chase the unknown. The first time I set foot on a ship and felt the wind whip through my hair, I knew something inside me had shifted. The ocean doesn't offer the same kind of love that marriage does. It doesn't promise safety or routine. Instead, it offers freedom. It challenges you. It forces you to trust the waves even when they're unpredictable. And maybe that's why it felt so intoxicating. Because here was a love that wasn't about staying grounded, it was about letting go. The sea became my second great love. Every wave felt like a heartbeat, every gust of wind like a whispered promise. Come with me, it seemed to say, and I'll show you something you've never seen before. There was danger, yes. There was risk. But isn't that what makes an adventure thrilling? The knowledge that you could fall, but choosing to leap anyway? That's what drew me in. And of course, in my mind, there was always a bit of pirate spirit tied to this second love. Yo ho ho wasn't just a phrase, it was an invitation. It was laughter in the face of uncertainty. It was the boldness to chase storms and sunshine alike. That kind of love doesn't sit quietly in the corner. It throws open the windows, demands you dance on the deck, and refuses to let you cling too tightly to control. At first glance, these two loves seem opposite. One quiet and steady, the other loud and unpredictable. One rooted in vows, the other in waves. But as time passed, I realized something important. Both were about devotion. The first taught me to show up every day, to nurture patience, to build trust. The second taught me to let go of fear, to embrace freedom, to believe in myself even when the path was unclear. And together, they gave me balance. Without the I do, without learning what it meant to commit to another person fully, I don't think I would have had the courage to say, yo ho ho. The first story gave me the foundation I needed, the anchor. The second gave me the wings, the sails, the courage to leap into the unknown. One grounded me, the other set me free. And maybe that's what love is meant to be, a mixture of anchor and sail, of earth and sea, of comfort and risk. Along the way, I discovered a few lessons. The first one is that love is work, but it's also play. Marriage taught me that you can't take everything so seriously. Sometimes, the only way to survive an argument is to laugh together. And adventure taught me the same thing. When the waves get rough and the sea feels overwhelming, sometimes you just have to laugh at the chaos, shake your head, and keep moving forward. The second lesson is about balance. We all need both comfort and risk. Too much comfort, and life starts to feel stagnant. Too much risk, and you burn out chasing storms. The real magic lies in finding a way to hold both, finding a home that grounds you and adventures that wake up your soul. And the third lesson? Love needs to be redefined again and again. It isn't just about romance. It's about passion. It's about chasing what makes your heart race, whether that's a person, an experience, or a dream. Love is everywhere if you're willing to see it. Experts often say the strongest bonds come from a balance between safety and spontaneity. And I couldn't agree more. That balance is what makes both marriage and adventure meaningful. The predictable and the unpredictable, side by side. The vows and the waves, hand in hand. So let me ask you, when you think about your own life, which story do you connect with more? Are you drawn to the steady I do, the comfort, the stability, the building of a life with someone you trust? Or do you feel the pull of yo ho ho, the thrill of the unknown, the wild freedom of chasing something bigger than yourself? Or maybe, like me, you're trying to live both at once. I'd love to hear your story. Because the truth is, neither path is wrong. Love wears many faces. And each version, no matter how different, teaches us something about who we are and what we value most. If this story made you pause, made you smile, or made you think, I hope you'll carry its message with you. And if you want more, you'll probably enjoy the story where I dive deeper into how adventure shaped my outlook on life. That's waiting for you next. For now, let me just say thank you. Thank you for listening, for being here, and for remembering with me that love is not just one thing. Sometimes it's a vow whispered at an altar. Sometimes it's a laugh shouted into the wind on an open sea. But always, always, it's the greatest story we'll ever tell.